You are listening to a pleasure podcast. For more from our sex podcast collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
I have a question for Gabrus. What is your relationship like with your parents? Do you talk openly about sex? Are they around?
My dad is deceased, but I do talk about sex at his grave once a week. I visit it and tell him about how many times I've jerked off and how much pussy I've eaten and stuff like that.
It's uncomfortable to talk about sex, but sometimes it's important to get uncomfortable. Sex Talk with My Mom is the best mom-son podcast about sex.
It's the only one as well.
My mother is a cougar.
My son is a clown.
In a nutshell, my dad died, so my mother decided to create a YouTube channel all about sex, like all mothers do.
And then my son decides to use my material in his stand-up comedy routines.
And thus, Sex Talk with My Mom was born. Welcome to Sex Talk with My Mom, the only show where a mother and son will be talking about sex on a weekly basis.
We do it because we love you, you little sneaky freaks, and we're talking in high octane rapid mode because we have a phenomenal guest who introduces his show like this, and I can't even talk like it because he's so good at it. And go ahead, Cam.
His name is Jon Gabrus. Grab your asses, pull up your pants, do a little dance because Jon Gabrus is coming on the show. Jon Gabrus is a hilarious stand-up comic, the host of several hit podcasts like High and Mighty, ActionBoyz, Raised by TV.
Yeah, a little FYI, we were on High and Mighty, and it was a rip-roaring, hilarious venture. So
this is how he starts all of his High and Mighty episodes, with like a wild intro. So we asked him to introduce us like he does on his own show. For this one, you'll get to hear his version.
Yeah, and you also get to hear his impersonation of Trump, which is pretty damn accurate, I got to tell you. Very funny.
Yeah, we get into the sex talk with his parents, how he was raised by wolves.
Basically. And we have some very unusual stories about used condoms and
tossing the salad.
And what about nosebleeds during sex? Well, without giving too much away, I think we've said enough.
So if you haven't heard of him, Jon Gabrus is an absolute hilarious stand-up comic that you should check out. He's also an incredible improviser. You can check him out. Well, I actually don't know if you can check him out at UCB anymore because it's closed.
But during regular non-COVID times, you can check him out at UCB. He's an ass cat, which I think is one of the funniest shows they have there. He's been on Comedy Bang Bang. He's all over the place, this guy. He's really, really funny.
He was ranked on Vulture's 50 comedians you should know. I agree you should know him. So I really hope you enjoy this wonderful ride with Jon Gabrus.
What's up, Cougar Heads? Welcome back to another episode of Sex Talk with My Mom. I'm the guest, Jon Gabrus, the #1 fuckboy from High and Mighty, but Cam and Karen Lee Porter wanted me to do the intro for their show, Sex Talk with My Mom, so put your motherfucking hands together for Karen Lee Porter and Cam! Mother and son podcasting duo talking about sex, having big fat bearded comedians on as guests. It's 10:30 in the morning and my wife is on a conference call with her co-worker. Sex Talk with My Mom.
I love this.
We really appreciate
Unbelievable.
You doing that and risking the wrath of your wife.
I'm in deep shit. Yeah, she's the one who's like earning money and health insurance for us, and I'm sitting here talking to a mother and son about sex. I mean, I've achieved my highest status in my career. This is what I've always wanted.
This is exactly what you should have
your
wanted.
priorities right. That's right. I'm very happy that you didn't know what's important.
Gabrus, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Psyched.
Doesn't this feel a lot like my podcast?
Actually, it's deja vu.
It really is unbelievable. And I don't know if I realized when we recorded for your podcast, but your Zoom handle or whatever your name is Gabrus, and then in parentheses it's Gay Briss.
Yes. That's a recent addition, is that my phonetic pronunciation of my name is now in my Zoom from when I've been guesting on other people's podcasts, or like when I play poker with some friends. A couple of the people are like, "What is that dude's name?" And so I just kind of figured out a way to make that my default name here on this.
Yeah, but a Gay Briss is so
Oh,
iconic.
Yeah, well, you're talking to someone who went to high school in the 90s, so I heard it all.
Oh, damn.
I'll change my name, though. Is that better?
No. We love that name.
No, that's a great.
Actually, my first question for you out the gate was when I looked on Wikipedia, your name was you were born Carlisle von Rappington. Is that real or what the fuck is that?
Did someone fuck with my Wikipedia?
It looks like somebody fucked with your Wikipedia.
And I don't even know what that name is.
Because we were so excited about that. Like, why would your parents name you that? And why would you change that?
I started thinking, did he take on his wife's name? But why did he change it from Carlisle to John? What?
That's really funny. Carlisle von Rapington. That's
Rapington.
why. Oh, okay. So
Not Rappington.
No,
So you'd rather have rape in your
well,
name?
what
is that?
well, let's call it Rappington. But I was wondering because I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I think that's just a gag.
When you get a
Somebody fucked
Wikipedia
with
page, anyone can just edit it and make up your life story for you.
I think so. I think that's how Wikipedia works. Is that it's like an open source encyclopedia.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thank God we don't have Wikipedia pages.
Yeah, thank God.
Yes.
I mean,
I want one.
Mine is kind of weird. I'm just like, I've never looked at it until right now. Some of the stuff is right and some of the stuff is weird, but otherwise, otherwise it seems pretty legit, except for the whole Rapington thing. It's pronounced Rappington, and it was my MC name when I was doing street battles in Long Island growing up in the late 90s.
That's exactly what I thought. Well, welcome to the show, Gabrus.
Yeah.
Cougar, now officially Cougar Hunter.
Yeah. By the way, that's not original.
Oh, okay.
There are quite a few of those out there.
Okay, well then this is what actually I prefer.
Cougar victim.
Cougar victim.
I'd like to be the victim of a vicious cougar attack. That's my lifelong dream. I'm going to make it happen.
Are you in a relationship with a cougar?
My wife is my age. I mean, she might be a cougar to some people, but she is. We're the same age. She's
Mentally or physically, or chronologically.
Maybe she's not. She's physically a cougar in that she is a large mountain cat, and it's the interspecies marriage. She's my age. She's not really doesn't have the cougar energy, but she's a brassy broad, I would say, is more her energy.
Well, that's because you're stereotyping cougar. I've redefined it.
Yes, the acronym. Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
No, confident, older, unique, genuine, assertive, and racy woman. We've talked about this.
So that is my wife, but I can only use the O in older because she's like 60 days older than me or something, like 90 days older than me.
Do you think she's more mature than you?
It depends. That's overall maybe yes, but we both have our shortcomings and our strengths. We kind of take the reins on different things like that.
Last time we talked, we were discussing how typically you both travel for your work, and now you're stuck together in the household.
Yeah, we're on.
Why are you putting it as stuck, Cam?
I don't know. That was kind of the vibe I was getting.
Maybe he likes being with his wife
I love
in the
it,
house.
but I will say it's a crazy time in California where you're not. You can't go into any businesses. You can't go to any of your friends' houses. And now, in the last week, we've lost outdoors as a location in which we're allowed to travel, leaving us with only our own. And I am a 38-year-old man who lives in an apartment, so I am in my apartment day in and day out for the last 8 days with minimal outdoors time, which was our only saving grace as being Southern California residents. At least you can walk your dog any time of the day and it's beautiful out. But now
we have definitely gone through the exact same scenario because we also live in lovely Hollywood area of Southern California. Well, I do at least. And you're right. It's like the plagues are coming down at us. Next thing you know, we're going to have locusts or something.
Yeah, for our listeners who are under a rock, California is blanketed. Actually, the whole West Coast is blanketed in smoke right now.
Yeah, it's pretty
it's
wild.
unhealthy. Yeah.
Yeah, you look at your phone and it says very unhealthy air. I mean, it's not even like moderate to mild.
Yeah.
It's like highly unhealthy.
When your dog looks at you and he's like, bro, I gotta take a shit, and I'm like, bro, we gotta be outside for the minimum amount of time. Dude. I'm not getting fucking, I'm not dying, so I can carry your shit around with me.
Today, though, my dog shit in my boyfriend's hand. I don't understand how that happened.
Way.
Yeah, he did.
Is that a
He
trick
did. He
you
was-
taught him? Like, how do you get?
No.
How do you?
It's actually a great idea. He won't shit outside on our balcony, but he shits in my boyfriend's hand on the way to the dog run.
What the fuck?
Oh, 'cause
Why,
he-
why is
because
your boyfriend's hand there?
Because he's carrying the dog.
He was carrying
Okay.
the dog 'cause
Oh.
he was not up for going out today.
He wasn't like trying to catch it before it hit the ground for some reason.
Well, I
He's
actually
trailing behind
Yeah.
with like a little shovel.
I have done that before with another dog that had problems controlling his balls. I took a newspaper and I like shoved it under his ass
Yeah.
as he's walking, just trying to catch anything.
My dog kind of walks while he poops. Like he takes
Oh,
he
yeah,
takes a full
that's-
semicircle, so you have to like chase him around. And every once in a while, you're like moving a little faster than he is, and you can sort of be like, I have the bag on my hand. Do I just put it like right underneath the tap and catch it and like eliminate even it hitting the sidewalk or grass? And
Great call.
It's
Yeah,
a good fecal specimen right there.
every once in a while, you're just like, whoop, right out of the soft serve, seal this bag up,
Yeah.
and throw it.
God, what kind of dog do you have again?
I have a Boston Terrier. Though according to Wikipedia, he's a French Bulldog. What the fuck, Wikipedia?
Oh,
See, this is the
somebody's
shit.
really messing with
They're
you.
very similar dogs, to be fair, but he is a Boston Terrier.
It's pretty.
But they're not the same breed, though. Why would somebody put down that you had a completely different breed of dog?
I don't know. I mean, they also said my name was Carlisle Von Rapington. Getting the dog breed off by a little bit is probably less crazy than fabricating a birth name for a D-level comedian you don't know.
Wait, first of all, you're not a D level.
All right.
You're at least a B, right?
I don't know about that.
You're like one of the funniest people I know.
Oh
so-
yeah, well that says
In our
more about
lives,
the
you're
amount
an A plus.
Yeah, so it says more about the boring ass people you guys know.
that is true.
What is your life like these days if you're not doing comedy, stand-up comedy all the time?
I was always performing at night here and there, and then touring and shit. And now my life is a lot like, I don't know. It's weird. My life is very weird right now. It's hard to articulate. I don't do much. I do a lot of podcasting. I have 3 podcasts currently running, so I'm doing work for all of them pretty
Holy
much.
moly.
But
Well, that is a lot, by the way.
That-
don't underestimate that. That's a lot.
that ends up being a lot. And then guesting on some random ass like sex talk mom podcast shit, like doing all that. So like, because I feel like, I feel the need to talk to people because something I didn't realize until, day 100 of the pandemic is that I really vibe off the energy of other people. I guess that makes me like an extrovert or whatever. And performing live for people and getting like I miss that energy. So podcasting, getting to talk to like acquaintances, strangers, friends, like this has been my saving grace. And also, not to mention, a small financial way to stay alive during all this. So for me, it's been. And I've struggled with like, am I a podcaster? Am I an actor? How creative am I? What is exactly podcast? And then like in the last several months, I've been very grateful and honored to be a podcaster because I'm able to.
Yeah, woo, go podcasters.
It's pandemic proof. I'm able to still do it. I'm able to meet random freaks like you guys. I'm able
But
to make people
literally
laugh.
the random freak thing is you're not just meeting random people. Like it's like you go deep right away with podcasts.
Yeah, you talk
it's
for an
like
hour. There's rarely
Yeah.
times. The reason I started my podcast, High and Mighty, which you guys were recent guests on, episode hasn't aired yet. But who knows? Maybe when this episode airs, it will have aired. But the reason I started was because I wasn't I had a long ass conversation with 2 friends at a bar one night. Just no one was around. It was just me and 2 buddies, and we talked for like 45 minutes about one movie. And I was like, this was like the best conversation I've had in like the 4 years I've lived in LA. And it was like the deepest like about a topic. And I'm like, I should start a podcast and then I did it just to have hour conversations with friends, and then moved on to eventually having hour conversations with strangers who then by the end, if we do each other's podcast, we're technically married at this point.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
true.
I feel
it's longer than
very-
we talk to
very-
most people.
That's
But
the thing.
specifically with
I've already
think about it.
today I've already talked to you longer than I've talked to my wife. I'll eventually surpass this conversation with my wife, hopefully, fingers crossed. But there's a good chance, not until she wraps work for the day, that the person I talk to the most this day are Cam and Karen Lee Potter.
Hell yes.
You lucky dog, you
I
You
know.
lucky
you lucky
dog.
Boston Terrier
People are
or
gonna be-
French bulldog.
People are
going
going
to
to be so jealous.
Do you? So I actually run into that same problem. Of like is podcasting really comedy? Does this count? You know,
Yeah,
is
or
this
does it feel like I need something to do during the day so I don't feel insane, or because writing jokes is hard and it's like easier just to talk on the microphone?
right? Is this less legit in any way?
Yeah, I don't know, and that's what I've been struggling. I mean, I literally have been in therapy for like 2 years talking about like what am I doing with my life, like.
So wait, but both of you, why does it have to be labeled as art versus you just blah, 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 blah?
Because if you get, it's not as pure as the comedy that you like wanted to do, but at the same time, like if you eventually became a late night talk show host, would you be like, oh man, I'm not, I guess you might still miss doing stand up or whatever, but it is like, or doing comedy for me, which is improv and like stand up or whatever. But like, it's one of those things where it really is the same. It's just in your own head. It's like Jerry Seinfeld never had a podcast. Chris Rock never had a podcast. You know, Maria Bamford, well, she now has a podcast. A lot of people now have podcasts, to be fair. But like those things where you're coming up and you're like, and it's just because the business is constantly changing. Like when you look up to someone that you want to emulate in your career, if you have been doing comedy for any length of time, like myself, like people didn't have podcasts. So you didn't know to look up to, like, that wasn't a thing. But now podcasts are a thing. And I'm assuming there's some comedy people out there that are like, I wish I had a podcast like High and Mighty, or I wish I had a podcast like Sex Talk with My Mom. And then you're like, oh, right. It takes that to like reevaluate of like, yeah, this is actually a cool thing. Yeah. And also, listen, like, name another person like that has a relationship with their mom where they get to talk on video chat an hour a week. Like even at minimum, I'm assuming you guys maybe converse outside of the podcast. But
that's debatable sometimes. But sometimes he's very gruff with me.
Well, you are collaborators now too. You're family and collaborators, so that sort of fucks with the power dynamic. You're not the mom as much as you are a co-host now.
Yeah.
Yes, we're partners. Yeah.
That's exactly what fucking happened before this. She called me like 5 minutes before we had scheduled our first meeting, and I was like, why are you intruding right now, mother?
Because I had a thought. When I have a thought, I pick up the phone and I act on it.
Oh, okay. Well,
see, we're very different in our we're very different in our approach to life. He's very like thoughtful, and he thinks things through, and he's very pensive about stuff, and I'm like, oh, I got a thought. I'm going to act on it immediately. It's called ADD, in case you didn't know what that disease is.
That's a standard split in a lot of relationships, whether they be collaborators, coworkers, parents, spouses. Like it always is sort of like one person is like, I have this energy, and the other person is my wife is the impulsive one, and I'm the yang, sort of. Yeah.
That's not true.
Oh,
no,
wow.
Wait. Your wife
That's
is
pretty
the
surprising.
one?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I know.
Come on, podcast. We gotta get her.
Imagine what that's like for me, dude. If she's more impulsive than I am.
That's exactly it. Oh my God. But actually, that's kind of my dynamic with my boyfriend as well.
Yeah, believe it or not.
We call him D's from the D's.
Nuts.
D's nuts.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. I'm familiar with these nuts. I'm familiar with those nuts, baby.
So anyway, yeah, he's double or triple the energy of me.
Jesus
so you
Christ.
Can just imagine. Yeah.
That stressed me out.
A lot of buzzing going around.
It's stressful.
It's stressful.
That sounds very stressful.
Well, what we like to do with some of our guests, if you're down to play with us, is play a game called Mom Don't Ask That.
Okay.
Are you into that idea?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the game? I mean, I don't even know what the game is, but yeah, I'll play.
I'm shaking.
These are a bunch of questions that my mother will ask that mothers typically don't ask.
Oh, okay. And she's going to ask both of us the answer.
Yeah, mainly you. But
I'll
chime in.
See, I've heard his stories already. They're getting old.
Okay, so
quarantine has really put a damper on Cam's stories.
Yeah, I'm sure the dating stories have grinded to a halt in this time.
They really have. I mean, our listeners are probably
how many times can you tell your mom about jerking off on FaceTime before you eventually have to be like, they all blend together eventually.
Wait, have you ever jerked off on FaceTime?
Me? No, I live with my partner. Like, I don't have to.
He jerks off face to face.
She doesn't want to see that.
All right, so here we go. And I picked this out purposefully because of based on our last conversation.
Okay.
What 3 words describe losing your virginity and why?
Okay. raw,
Oh.
bloody nose.
Oh, no way.
No, I did not expect that. Okay.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. That the first time I had sex, well, the first time I attempted to have sex, the first time the tip of my penis touched labias, I got a nosebleed, and I was on top, missionary style, and I was 16 years old. So this is over 2 decades ago, and I was on top, and I just got a bloody nose, and I don't believe in like signs from higher powers, but I was about to have my unprotected sex. I was about to have sex for the first time, completely unprotected.
Oh, wow.
And then I got a nosebleed and like all this, and like it ruined the moment. And I was in my high school girlfriend's mother's robe that was super short, with my little high school boner sticking out the bottom and blood all over my face, just being like, "I'm sorry." I literally said to her, I thought. I was trying to be funny and cover it up. I was embarrassed. I was like, "Oh, I thought women bled the first time." LOL. Ha, ha, ha.
Oh my
And she
God.
was like, "Not funny." And I was like, "Look." I would like we had this like whole
Wait, was she a virgin as well?
yes. And so it was like this huge build up to both of us losing our virgin. No, she was not. She was not a virgin. No, that's right. Whoops. So it was a big build up, and then it didn't happen. So then we went like 3 days later on like our high school lunch break. We had fourth period off. We like drove in her Toyota Celica to her house and had sex on a bunk bed, and then drove back to school. Oh, and then we used condoms that time, and
That was good. On your nose, too?
might as well have, yeah. You used condoms that time, but then we left them out, and I had to, before her mom got home from work, because I also had a 7th period off later on in the day, me and my buddy had to drive to her house, break into her house, and I had to steal my own comeback, more or less. It was like national treasure.
Oh, my God.
I broke into her house to steal my condoms back.
That gives new meaning to the walk of shame.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Like, I just ran in. The door was locked, so I, like, opened up the screen window, climbed in through the living room window, stole a bunch of tissues and condoms off the coffee table, jumped back out the window, ran to my friend's car, and I was like, drive. And he's like, we're driving back to school, and he's like, bro. And I'm like, what? He's like, throw those out. I'm like, didn't realize I got in the car, and I'm just holding like a huge wad of condoms and paper towels and wrappers in my hand. He's like, throw them. And I just like throw them out the window on the main road on the drive back to school.
This is how
Can
we
you
find
imagine
out.
if you were the car? Can you imagine the car behind you, like getting smacked in the windshield with a fucking condom full of shit?
Shit. No, it was cum.
Sorry. Liquid gold.
I've never understood how I find condoms on the side of the road. Like, what the fuck is going on with the used condoms? Just
People are fucking in their cars and then going like,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
leaving this. I don't have like, I'm not putting this in the ashtray for the next. Like, you
Yeah,
just
ashtray.
tie it off, open the window, bloop.
little 16-year-olds
evidence.
fucking throwing shit out the window.
The amount of condoms I left in a beach parking lot, I'm like very anti-littering, but like the amount of condoms I've left in like a beach parking lot or, you know, situations like that. Like, because when you're in high school, once you get a car, you can't really, like, it's weird to fuck in your parents' house when they're home. Like, because like your whole family's, it's like, my mom didn't even let me like close the door with my girlfriend, my high school girlfriend. So it'd be like going out driving and then like fucking in like parked in front of like a fucking park or whatever, or in like a random movie theater parking lot at night, just like fucking in the car, hoping to not get caught. It's all we had.
Did you ever get caught?
No. Never got caught officially, but on my junior year when I went to prom with the same girl, we had sex. We went out. We were inside at the prom after party. We were like, let's go fuck in the limo. We went out, had sex in the limo, and then when we got out of the limo and we were walking back into the house, we saw that the driver had been in the limo the entire time.
No.
And we were like, oh boy.
You made that driver's fucking weak.
Oh my God. Oh my God. How disturbing. I guess at that point, I don't know what the driver should have done. If he should have knocked down the like little window between the front and the back.
Yeah, what is he? I guess if my guess is this dude has watched a lot of people fuck, and maybe is not even interested in it. You know what I mean? He might be to the level of like, well, roll it up. Yeah, he's just like
Here they go again.
just reading a
Condoms
fucking
left.
newspaper. Like, oh, family circus, ha ha ha.
I've asked Uber drivers about that. I've done surveys. Almost every time I got an Uber for the first like 25 times, I would ask the Uber driver, has anybody ever tried having sex in your in your backseat or your Uber.
And what do they say?
And I have gotten such great responses. Some of them, barely could speak English, but they're, oh yeah, yeah. And I've heard some good stories. And like some would say like no, but I wish they had, and then others would say I wouldn't allow that in my backseat.
Yeah.
I mean, I got varied responses.
I would be like that. I would not allow that in the back seat.
If I was an Uber driver, I would. This is so shallow. It would completely depend on the people's level of attractiveness.
I was saying bullshit. You wouldn't like it, Cam. I'm a
heterosexual man, but even if it was two dudes fucking, if they were hot, I would allow it. You know what I mean? Like I just if it was like two busty people, I'd be like, get out of here, get lost. You know what I mean? But and that's just fucked up of me. But if they were hot, like that's just hot privilege. If you're hot, you can fuck in my Uber, destroy my Prius seat. Okay, you two beautiful busty, broad-shouldered lesbians that are in here. My two.
That is a fantasy. Although I did hear one of the Uber drivers told me about this. I think it was like a couple girls and a guy and all this. It was like group sex in his back. It was,
oh my God.
Man.
What a confined situation.
Maybe that was Lyft.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that sounds like Lyft. More of a
That's
mustache.
a Lyft situation.
Yeah, it sounds more Lyft-like than Uber.
I haven't taken an Uber or Lyft in so long.
Oh. All right, let's do another question then.
Well, why? No one wanted to know why.
We know why.
Okay.
Wait.
Because I'm stuck in this God blessed apartment.
We got it.
Got it? Okay. Well, I'm scared to get in an Uber. Who knows where the last person just got picked up from the airport? Who knows where those people were and breathing and hacking all over this car?
There's really nothing better than eating a healthy, delicious meal and feeling like $1 million afterwards.
And I know I can't do that. I'll end up making some eggs and calling it a day.
You can do it, Mother, with the help of Sakara.
And I have tried Sakara, and I fucking love Sakara.
Sakara, my friends, is our best find of 2021. They're delivering plant-rich, organic, ready-to-eat meals directly to your door.
Chef-crafted breakfast, lunch, and dinners. They change weekly. These meals are so delicious and so healthy. You know when a meal is good, Cam?
When?
When you cry when you're done with it.
You cry?
I felt such emotion when I ate this nutritious meal from Sakara that I literally had tears in my eyes.
When I eat healthy, I feel a healthy mind. It's a wonderful experience, both inside and out. You're going to look your best. You're going to feel your best. It changes your skin.
It makes your digestion improve, your energy level.
Along with their plant-rich meals, Sakara offers wellness essentials for optimal nutrition. They got metabolism super powders. They got supplement packs that will deliver support to your gut health, energy, immunity, and healthy skin. I'm obsessed with Sakara. It's literally my favorite way to eat.
And it's very colorful, too.
If you want to eat healthy, you want to feel great.
And you want to change your entire life.
And it's so freaking easy. You just order the food and it comes already made. Go to sakara.com/sextalk or enter code sextalk at checkout. You'll get 20% off your first order. That's Sakara, SAKARA.com/sextalk to get 20% off your first order. Sakara.com/sextalk.
It's yummy.
I have a question for Gabrus. What is your relationship like with your parents? Do you talk openly about sex? Are they around?
My dad is deceased, but I do talk about sex at his grave once a week. I visit it and tell him about how many times I've jerked off and how much pussy I've eaten and stuff like that. No, we're a little old school, and my parents were like kind of. I don't know how to explain. My parents they were like the classic parents of the 80s and 90s and worked full-time jobs that included weekends and nights, and we were just like sort of like feral. We were more or less like dogs. Like our parents were like, we get home and we feed them and make sure they're asleep, but like otherwise they're just like at the house. Like I was like a latchkey babysitter from like the age of 11 on. So they were.
How many siblings?
I have 2 younger brothers. I'm the oldest of 3. So
wow.
You're the authority figure there.
I was the authority figure from like
1992
till 2000.
Oh wow!
From the age of 10 to 18, I was in charge of the house.
Are your brothers like normal?
more or less. One is like too normal, and one is not that normal.
Is that your doing?
Potentially. But yeah. So and my mom is.
You guys were like raised by wolves or something over there.
We really were. We're like feral children. We like just live like in the summers. My mom was a nurse. Like she had to work, and like nurses work weekends. Nurses work 7 to 7. My dad worked in television. That he had to work 3 to 11 every day, including weekends, holidays. Like we would have to like Christmas morning go to our aunt's house because both of our parents were working on Christmas or something like that. Like random shit like that. So we had like for like a Saturday in the summer, my parents were like, my dad was home till like 1, and then my mom wasn't home till 7. So, or like wasn't home till 6, or like some variation. And maybe grandma would come over for a couple hours, but often it was like, Jonathan will just hold down the fort. Here's $20 for pizza or whatever. And so we lived like that. So
frightening.
Yeah.
It's absolutely frightening what was going on in that house.
So, and I guess I'm over explaining it, but then when my parents were around, I found, this is the way I always explained, is like they tried to be a parent be a whole month's worth of parent into like the 2 hours at their home, where it's like
quality time.
Yeah, and as a kid, you're just like, leave me the fuck alone, Mom. I can't. You just asked me like 40 questions in a row. It's not a conversation. So you got
was one of them, what's your name?
Yeah, like which one are you? Well, all our names start with J too, so it was actually difficult for my dad would always be like, Ja, which one am I trying to call?
I still do that.
Yeah,
and we don't have J's.
Yeah, we do. We got 2 J's.
We have 2 J's, but
2 out of 3 J's. What do you mean we don't have J's, Cam?
Yeah.
You mean you're not a J?
Yeah, I'm not.
He's not the J, but he's got it. We got a Jessica and a Jeremy. Where you get there's only.
Well, I was just
we don't
saying
have
that
J's. We have J's.
you still screw up my name, and I don't have any.
Well, that's because I screw up everybody's name. I call the dog sometimes the wrong name.
But so for me, we never really talked about that stuff. Also, I'm the oldest too, and so like that's something that like I think parents get wrong a lot, is like when you're supposed to talk to them about your oldest child is like your rough draft, where you're like, okay, all right, you know what, we shouldn't spank the next one, we fucked up, or like.
Right. I was the oldest one too.
Yeah.
I agree with you. We had to break all the ice.
Yeah, my parents were like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that was brutal. I guess maybe grounding our son for most of his junior year of high school didn't help his academics, and also destroyed him mentally and socially. But like stuff like that, like, so I never talked to my parents about sex. Like we're raunchy in our humor around the house, and like we'll do stuff like that just to make my mom laugh and blush now, but like, and we'll be gross and rude, but like we're never like, it was never serious. It was never like, I remember just like one time my dad finding condoms and just being like, if you have any questions, you can ask me, like just that's it. But like it was all I needed was like, it's okay. If you have more questions, you can ask. Like I didn't want to know much more.
That's great.
You didn't tell him about the nosebleed experience.
No, I feel like, well, then the other thing that comes into play is eventually I become a comedian who tells true stories and harnesses his real life for laughs. And then my mom starts coming to comedy shows, and then she starts hearing about, trying to get a soft dick into a condom, and it's embarrassing, and hearing nosebleeds and like getting a blowjob on the flagpole against the flagpole in high school in front of my entire grade, like. All these stories eventually start coming out, and my mom is like,
how did you have all this action as a young, you were under the age of 18?
I was funny.
It is true.
Yeah, funny guys have been fucking above their station for generations. You know what I mean? Like, my wife is an absolute smoke show. You know what I mean? Like she's way hotter, richer, and more well-adjusted than me, and I get it because I'm funny.
Where did the humor come from? Did you get that from one of the parents?
Both of my parents actually, both of my parents are super. My dad's hysterical. His tombstone's hilarious. No, my dad was like very smart, very sarcastic, very biting, and very mean. And which was
mean?
Yeah, his humor was very mean, and I mean he was just generally mean. He was mean in general, but his humor was also very mean, which I loved because he was cruel and funny. Like my family is and still is. You have to have a thick skin, even if you're married into my family, because everyone, like roast culture, is so alive in my family.
Yeah.
If you show up,
that's how my boyfriend's family is too. I don't get that.
Where are they from?
Long Island.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He's got
Strong
Long Island.
Yeah, that's where my family's from. That's why we're like that. That's a Long Island cultural thing.
I know, and I try telling this to Kim because he's like, I don't understand the sense of humor, and I'm like, I think it's this whole family because they're all like the most fun thing to do is just to rip each other to shreds and the family,
It's a Long Island. Yeah, our family group chat is brutal. Every time my aunt misspeaks, we all just like make fun. Like it's all gifts roasting the family. No matter we have a cousin who doesn't talk that much, so all we do is talk about how little he talks. Like one of my brothers is like very hardly wound, tight with anxiety, and all we do is roast him for his anxiety. Everyone just makes fun of me for being fat and goofy and weird. Like it's all, and that's so.
I feel so bad.
I literally
feel bad for him.
Karen Lee, I almost guessed, is your boyfriend from New York? Because it's a very New York thing, and specifically Long Island.
I feel so much better. I think I all those years in therapy were for nothing. All I had to do was talk to you.
Bro, I'm telling you, that's what Long Island is like. It's like if you have to have thick skin because like you'll go to the Dunkin' Donuts and someone will be behind you and be like, what the fuck are those, T-shirts you're wearing? Like, this is like, the guy at the bagel store will be like, all right there, big guy, what kind of fuck you want? Full fat cream cheese? You have to be ready for all that. That's just how everybody
what about
talks.
Driving, by the way.
Oh, driving's a fucking night. Everyone just is like. Anyone in my family while driving just has a monologue about how dumb and stupid and ugly everyone else on the road is. And like, look at this fucking. I remember my dad used to say used to call people mud ass. Look at this mud ass. Look at this mud ass over here. This fucking
What is
mud
that?
ass.
Like he shat his pants or something?
Yeah, something. I think it was in reference to a guy who had like a little shit in his pants. Like a little
love
shit
that.
stain.
Oh my God! Yes, it's like unbelievable. But the driving makes me. I'm hiding under the dash, on the passenger side, under the whatever the dashboard is area because I'm so nervous.
I'm
know
with
what's
you.
going to happen? There's everybody on the road are always doing something wrong.
Is your wife Is your wife from Long Island as well?
No, she's from Westchester.
You met your wife in college?
In college, yes. And we were the same major. She transferred to school my sophomore year, her first year there. We're same year. She had gone to another school for a year, so she was like this new hot girl in class. And
God!
And we ended up. I like weaseled my way into a group project with her because she was hot, and then she ended up being like the type of chick that also does all the work. And I was like, "Holy shit, this woman is everything!" And then I just like
gotta marry her.
Hooked my fucking hooks into her. We both had sig others at the time.
Oh wow!
So we kind of just were friends for a couple of years, but clearly there was like undeniably some level of attraction. Like she's like gorgeous and I'm not bad myself. And so we were just constantly being friends and then we started taking classes together because we were both communications majors and we both liked film. So we were both taking all these film classes and we were like, oh, we should take them together because she does work and I'm like naturally lazy but smart. Like I retain information and I'm like a movie nut. So she was like, our forces combined, we can like. There was a teacher named C+ Susie that taught all the film classes, and everyone called her C+ Susie because she was brutal. And we were like, together we can dominate C+ Susie. So
and get at least to a B+.
Yeah, so I started hanging out with like this beautiful woman. We're taking all our classes together. We're working together outside of class, and we're just like falling for each other. And eventually, dialogue gets heavy where we're like, we should really start. So then we have like a serious conversation of like, I broke up with my girlfriend over one summer. The summer in between junior and sophomore, somewhere in between sophomore and junior year. So little did I know that was my like summer of love, my last summer of being a single person for the rest of my life. And then
how do you feel about that now though?
I did my work is all I'll say.
Yeah, you started. So,
I got my summer. I got that summer in. Yeah, I was a bartender and a lifeguard I was a beach lifeguard and a bartender at like one of the trashiest bars on Long Island for one full summer. It was good. It was a good summer to be my last single summer. Yeah.
Wow.
But you also started really early.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was like a nationwide thing, but the more I find out about like, I was drinking every Friday and Saturday night starting like freshman year of high school, starting like the first week of high school. I was going to
if you had a kid and you found out the kid was drinking in freshman year of high school, would you put him in reform school or something?
No, I would just make sure he understood the dangers of it. Cause like culturally, I think it made me like, alcohol is not good for you, but where everyone fucking drinks it, you know what I mean? Like everyone goes through a phase at some point. If you're a kid, like it made me like, it ended up being a social skill that helped me in my career is the ability to go out and drink and interact with strangers. And like, it's just something and also by the time I got to college, when all these kids in my freshman year were getting like alcohol poisoning and falling off of this and doing this insane thing because now they're alone and they're completely cut loose. Me, I had already puked all over myself, knocked a tooth out, been arrested. You know, I'd already done all.
You're a veteran for crying out loud.
And so by the time I got to college, I was like a little chiller than I mean, I was still considered myself Van Wilder, but I like by the time I got to college, I was like well versed in the lifestyle, so it wasn't new to me. So I didn't go like. My dad always had this expression. The one lesson I took away from him was like, some New York Giants coach one time said to he didn't like touchdown celebrations because when you get to the end zone, you got to act like you've been there before. Like it's not a surprise. You're not celebrating. I come to this end zone. I score touchdowns. So when my dad used to tell me that every time I went out to a party or to go out drinking for the night, he's like, act like you've been there before. And it's a minor thing, but it is a real thing that I've lived my life by, where it's just like, don't go like, oh, look where we are. We got to go ape shit. We're in Vegas for the first time. Champagne, vodka, shots, Coke, you know, all this shit. It's like, no, you've been here before. Just act cool. It's like, this is natural. You don't have to go fucking out of the gate. You don't have to be he used to call New Year's Eve, St. Patty's Day, Thanksgiving Eve, all these days, rookie night, amateur evening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, going out, be careful. These guys are all amateurs. And he knew what he was saying. He's like, you're 19. You've been drinking for 5 years. You know what you're doing. Just be cool out there. But then, so if you start drinking at 14, you usually start fucking by 15 or 16.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a natural progression.
Yeah, if you're getting drunk with the cool girls and the cool guys at school every weekend, eventually you start pairing off.
Yeah.
I pushed my kids, right, Cam? I pushed
Unsuccessfully. Unsuccessfully.
I know. I'm like, you better start drinking now before you get to college, because I don't want to have to worry about you getting alcohol poisoning when you get there.
Yeah.
Like that's what my parents were so strict with me. They put me in a curfew, even though I was like the eldest good girl, like you said about breaking ice, and they gave me a curfew my senior year, the summer before going to college, at 12 o'clock at night.
I had that my senior year too. Not in the summer. In the summer, I kind of let it loose, and then also after I came back from freshman year, I like walked into the house. And I was getting ready to be my, summer job of lifeguarding and bartending. And I looked at my parents and I was like, I'll fucking stay at college if you try to tell me what to do now. I'm like,
don't rain on my parade.
I moved out so fast after college. I couldn't afford to, but I still moved out on a fucking Viacom PA salary just to not live. Because my upbringing was so. Granted, I was a feral child, but whenever my parents were around, it was so strict. Grounding, rules, make your bed. You have to say please and thank you. I had to call my dad sir until I was like 14. All these like stupid fucking rules. So when I went away to college and I was like, wait a minute. I made it through freshman year of college, did all the things successful, got, hooked up, met girls, got grades, joined clubs, played sports without my parents telling me what to do ever. And I managed, and I was like, oh, I don't need them. So when I came home freshman year, I just came in like fully equipped to be like, I am a self-actualized adult. Get the fuck out the way, Joanne. It's go time.
Joanne. I got to tell you, the first day I got down to college at University of Illinois, which I went to basically because it was, considered, sort of like a good academic school, but a party school too.
Yeah.
And I wanted a party. I just stayed up the whole night just because I could. Yeah. I didn't want to stay up. I just did it anyway. I just go rebelling that I'm just going to stay up all night.
Nice.
Yeah, I had very different approaches to both high school and college than both of you guys. I didn't drink at all during high school. I started drinking.
I wanted you to, though.
You did want me to, but I think that's why I didn't.
See, now that's
I
like.
My kids rebel against me.
That I like. I like hearing shit like that. It's like my mom says,
"Come on, get high." No.
Yeah, but I think
I'll show you, Mom.
You did not push weed on me.
But yeah, we wouldn't get weed pushed on us despite we were smoking weed. But like we went. I remember being like my dad knowing we were out drinking. You know what I mean? And like. Picking us up from our friend's house at midnight, and I'm drunk, and then I'm realizing my dad is also drunk, and he's like, do you want me to make you a burger when we get home? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll eat a fucking hamburger when we get home. And you don't know why your dad wants to make a burger at midnight, but you're pumped, and then you're like, oh wait, he's drunk too. Yeah.
That's great.
My designated driver is drunk.
Yeah, he had the accent. But you don't.
I don't
get that.
I do have a bit of an accent. I don't have I have this accent. My dad had like a Donald Trump level. Like he had a little nasal thing too. towards the end of his life where he's like,
Oh,
Oh,
God.
damn,
Caleb
that's good.
Cowardly, this is my son, Johnny. Yeah, that's what he sounds
It sounds exactly like him, actually.
Whenever you imitate your dad, now are people like, oh, he's just doing Donald Trump?
Well, that's how come I now can do a good Donald Trump impression, is because it's just the same as my dad, but with higher pitch moments. You know?
Oh,
Look,
my God.
I'm on Sex Talk with my mom. Some of these cougars, they're out there. They're having sex with young people. They're having sex with young people. Me, I like them young. Don't talk to my buddy Epstein about it. I wish him well. Oh, he's just dead. You know, like I could do Trump because I can I'm not good at voices. It's very close to my dad's.
That is excellent.
Yeah, that was it. That could be the teaser of our show now.
Oh, yeah.
Putting that down.
Mom, do we have another? We only got to one Mom Don't Ask That question. You got any more in there?
Yeah.
Surprising no
Sure.
one, I'll just talk for fucking an hour if you don't interrupt me. So be careful.
All right, John, here we go. What's the kinkiest thing you've done, and would you do it again?
Oh, I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, I've done plenty of kinky things. I've been with the same person for a long time, so we've, checked off a lot of stuff on the bingo board. Try not to talk too much about my sexual stuff with my wife,
bingo
which
board.
means all of my stories are from 18 plus years ago. But like, I've had my salad tossed, which was there's a reason people like it. It wasn't for me, but it is objectively a stimulating experience.
I don't think we've talked enough about salad tossing on the show. I don't even know if I have a good definition for what exactly is
Yeah.
a salad toss.
It's
Say it the way your dad would describe it.
Johnny, get your salad tossed means get your asshole licked or eaten by your partner, your sexual partner. So yeah, I had like a girl and an ex-girlfriend toss my salad at one point, and it was a wild experience.
Was it discussed beforehand, or did it just happen?
It's usually the couple of times it's happened in my life, it's been a extension of aggressive ball licking.
Yeah.
It's been an inevitability to aggressive ball licking during oral sex leads to okay, and that's how also you eventually end up with a finger in there.
Yeah.
I find and again, I'm speaking exclusively from
Yeah.
heteronormative
Yes.
sex. I've only ever had sex with women. Unfortunately.
So
You're trying to be politically correct here.
I find men, like, I can find a man hot. I can say a man is attractive. I could be like, that man is hot. But like for me, the ending of that ends at like physical contact. Like the idea of like kissing a man doesn't appeal to me. I'm not grossed out. I've done it. I'm not grossed out by it, but like I can see myself, like I can be attracted to a man, but I can never even, like, the sexualization of it never gets to that in my head. Like I'm that heteronormative, I guess. Like I'll look at like Henry Cavill's body and be like, holy shit, like that it kind of is arousing. But I would, if he was like, I'll suck your dick, and I'd be like, no thanks, man. I mean, if Henry Cavill, maybe I'll do it just for the fucking story.
Yeah,
but,
come on.
But I don't
You
necessarily.
have to do it for the bit. What about if the lights are out and you're not sure if it's a guy or a girl who's going down on you and tossing your salad and everything else?
What situation am I in where I'm not positive who it is that's giving me oral sex at the moment? Because like, also like, I don't know. Often men's faces feel different. I guess here, Karen Lee, answer your question. Yeah, fine. If the lights are out, if the lights are out and I don't know who it is, Henry Cavill can suck my dick.
I think
You heard it here first.
We got the exclusive.
Who the hell's Henry Cavill anyway? That you got a big crush on
Superman,
him?
baby.
Oh, Superman. Okay.
But really, I'm attracted to him in the most recent Mission Impossible movie. He has like a mustache and biceps, and it works on me. It's like something about his old-timey strength.
I mean, I think this is pretty progressive. Someone that grew up on Strong Island and has a tattoo to his arm to even say as much as you've said.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, everybody is it the biggest insult you could say? He's gay, he's gay, he's gay,
Yeah.
right? I mean, what is that?
I mean, I
Why
grew
are
up
you
in the
calling everybody.
I grew up in the '90s with the last name Gabrus in a in an
Oh
area where people know what a bris is because a lot of people on Long Island are Jewish, and my high school teachers, my football coach, who was also a teacher, called me gay boy for all 4 years I was in school.
No
And
way.
several different teachers, adult men, which by design then my teammates called me gay boy for my 4 years. And the joke I always make is like I was going to become one of two things at that point, either a comedian or a school shooter, and I chose the first.
Oh my
God,
God! Yeah.
Thank God you went to the. Wait, so you are Jewish or you're not Jewish?
I'm not Jewish. I've been to
You're
50 bar
Italian?
mitzvahs, but I'm Italian. Yeah, well, like
Yeah.
it's Long Island, so I'm either Jewish, Italian,
Or
or
Italian,
Irish. Yeah. But it's mostly Italians and Jews out there, and we're very similar. If I can,
I think so. I think the cultures are
the
similar.
cultures are very matriarchal, food-based, guilt-based dynamics in a secular sense.
Except Italians are usually better cooks.
Yeah, but not when it comes to dessert. Italians give you fucking dry ass cookies and expect you to drink
know.
espresso at like 8 years
It's
old.
true.
I like those cannolis.
Well, cannolis are a very special dessert, but they're not the standard. Like Italian standard dessert is like a cookie made from like quick-crete concrete mix. It's got like it's like the thing a kid would never want. It's like it's dry ass powder with raspberry jam in the middle. You're like,
stand
you're like, get this whack ass shit out of here. And then your parents are like, it's so good with coffee. And you're like, I'm fucking 10. Give me chocolate chips and milk. I don't need espresso with sambuca and a fucking trefoil cookie. Give me some real shit here.
Tiramisu is
Tiramisu is tight. Affogato is tight, but that's the shit that isn't like a standard. Those are Italian restaurant desserts.
Right.
Italian
right.
home
I-
desserts is
yeah.
a fucking. We spent 9 hours making fucking sauce for you, but we have
Right.
our dessert is an afterthought of just a tossed out fucking tin of old cookies that you're gonna cough fucking dust. It's gonna look like you're gonna. What am I talking about?
I don't know, but you're absolutely right. I have a friend that told me the exact same thing. She's a big Italian cook, and she told me that the pastries sucked.
Yeah.
But everything else, she made her own pasta sauce and the pasta homemade and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but the cookies are fucking whack, and that's something I had to grow up with. And then like Jewish people get rugula, and you're like, oh, this shit is fucking yummy. This is like, well, this is what it's supposed.
What about mandel bread?
Don't get me started on
bread
mandel
is like
bread.
it's like a biscotti.
Oh yeah. Biscotti is like another thing. Your parents are like, I'm like, we're having dinner. Like, is there any dessert? It's like, yeah, we have almond bricks for you to bite through with your first set of baby teeth. Good luck, kid. It's like I might as well give me a fucking high chair and let me suck on this thing for a half an hour until it becomes mush.
Well, we've reached the end of our show, and I love that we ended with dessert. How fitting.
Salad. We had the salad.
We had a salad course.
Main course. And then we went to dessert.
We skipped the meat.
Well, there was plenty of meat in there. I just didn't reference it.
No, we had the hamburger that your dad was making for you when he's driving home.
Well, I wanted to thank you very much for coming on, Gabrus.
Yeah.
But, dude, guys, thank you for having me on. This was a blast.
Yeah.
Will you
It's amazing.
Will you stick around for a little Patreon bonus episode?
Yeah, sure, of course.
And if people wanted to find you, how do they do that?
I'm at Gabrus on all social media, Gabrus, and I have a podcast called High and Mighty, which is free and has 5 years worth of episodes up. And then I have another podcast called ActionBoyz, which is a movie review podcast that is on Patreon. But we have a bunch of free episodes out there floating around that you can track them down. And then I also have the Gino Lombardo Show, which is a quote unquote scripted radio show on Stitcher Premium. Promo code Gino for 1 free month.
Oh, sick. And that show that we're going to be on is called High and Mighty. If you want,
That's High and Mighty. That's the main one. Yeah.
Are you typically high when you record High and Mighty?
Yes.
Were you high when we recorded High and Mighty?
What time did we record High and Mighty?
3:30.
Yes.
Oh, you're so fucking stoned.
Yes, of course. I'm not going to
Was
sit here
I
and talk to
high? I
fucking
can't
people without getting high. Doing 10:30 in the morning is the one time where I don't get high because I'm like, I have to exercise after this. But also,
you're
I
straight
can't go
right
outside. Yeah, I'm straight.
Yeah.
I'm, like as you heard, I'm like 90% straight.
Oh.
Well, thank you for coming on. This has been a real blast.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so
I
much.
appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon.
And you little sneaky freaks, stay tuned if you want to listen to some Patreon bonus episodes.